Here's a summary of the case court connected to 62800, 62,800, case 62,800. Two brothers have two criminal files that were opened for them by the police in 2024. Some of the felonies below are included in the files. 1. Felony against the law against domestic violence. Inheritance law, section 115, asserts the right to reside in the family home. Right to reside in the family home. Brothers' eviction suit contradicts this section. Real estate law, section 14, 15, 18, and also real estate law, section 14, 15, 18, and also statute of limitation. Protect ownership and possession also gives the right to self-defense and defense against eviction. Penalty law, perjury, section 239. Brothers contradicted to the testimony, hidden assets, and that thing amounts to perjury. More perjuries are claiming she's wasteful, and that the reason of making a trust is her wastefulness, describing themselves as needy families while they live like oligarchs, claiming that a paralyzed person, state of a vegetable, initiates an ongoing power of attorney on herself, that's their mother. Penalty law, section 431. Exploitation of a vulnerable person, forcing a mute, paralyzed mother to sign legal documents. Penalty law 301. Negligence and aggravated murder, alleged link in mother's death to concealment of financial crimes. Penalty law section 486, 488, strict liability. It's also in the trust law, but in the penalty law it says that, you can't see if it's an theft of an estate assets and of an extinction of rental income from a property prior, when you know that you have to preserve the money, preserve and enlarge the money, and you take in from it, not even taken, you lose it, you don't know where it is. It's strict liability. You have you have a penalty law. Section 245, the brothers knowingly engaged in their fraudulent behavior. Guardianship law, 32, 32A, 32T, 47. They said that they won't create a trust, but then they said, we're creating a trust, which wasn't, it's also, this is a guardianship law. So they made an ongoing power of attorney on a muted person, and tried to sell her house, and they also didn't, tell other relatives. They did it behind their back. They didn't tell the defendant regard that, and they were already very actively selling her house, demolishing, and they're trying to expel the daughter that lived there for 20 years, and they had, and their lawyer has he was involved in it, in doing a real estate while she's, the daughter's living there, while the mother, moved to the old age home for just a trial for a week, and, she was crying in the beginning, they expelled me from the house. They said they don't have money and they need the money, and there was supposed to be 20 million in the bank. At the time, there was supposed to be at least 16 million in the bank. I said, what are you talking about? That was in September 2022. And then, she became a mute and tried to drug and all that. Okay. Trust law 158. The essence of a trust is to enlarge and preserve the money. They said that they won't, initiate a trust, and then they said to court that they won't. And then they decided that opening a bank account on her name where they have access is a trust. It's not a trust. That's not a trust. You have to preserve, enlarge the money. You need bookkeeping. You have to fill forms to the authorities, the tax authorities, for a relative trust. It has nothing to do with her. I mean, it's not there. Money laundering law. 3. Cash reduction law. 4. FATCA. All these are money and banking. FATCA, CRS, and computer law. Claims of concealment of bank operations, illegal cash withdrawals, gambling in the bank, and transaction splitting. Additional doctrines: strict liability, victim compensation, and no crime without an act. Core claims: rather committed perjury, fraud, theft, murder, aggravated murder, medical negligence, exploitation, and attempt eviction. Violating multiple laws while abusing trust and guardianship rules. Okay. Background first: the two brothers and the lawyer have 2 criminal cases that were opened on them on 2024. In the court case regarding the trust for male inheritance, the judge claimed that the need for a trust is a mistake. The brothers agreed in court to enable her to manage her assets, the defendant. Despite that, they acted in perjury and tried in 2025 to create a bank account on her name, where they have access, while concealing assets. On this background, key claims is a trustee and sued her for eviction in contradiction to Section 115 of the Inheritance Law. For about 2 years, they acted violently and tried to expel her from the house in contradiction of 115. Okay, Goldman versus Goldman, the right, these are court cases. The right to reside under Section 115 is not an ordinary right of inheritance, but rather an independent right intended to protect the continued existence of a spouse. Nathan versus Kaminsky, the spouse is not required to pay for the right, it's an automatic legal right that protects him. Civil appeal, this is just that. From it's 1890 from 2008. Anonymous versus Anonymous re-emphasizes the supremacy of the right to reside over demands for dissolution of partnership on the real estate by other heirs. Summary of the case: court cases mentioned under Section 115 of the Inheritance Law grants surviving relatives an independent right to continue living in the residential apartment. This is a quasi-propriety right protected, which overrides the demand of other heirs to of dissolution of partnership in the property. Judgment 1890 strengthens the legal and practical status of Section 115. Act against the okay, now we're going into perjury. The fact that they didn't give her the money is a perjury, according to paragraph 239 of the penalty law. Moreover, the legal process they expose under perjury that occurred in case 25,135 for the first time, they claimed that the deceased created an ongoing power of attorney to enable them to sell her house. This was the reason the defendant ran out of the courtroom after actually the judge screamed in complete shock. After screaming shock, the perjury is the time the power of attorney was created. The deceased was in full ALS and mute for 6 months. This document and act by them is a felony under Chapter 11, theft of the penalty law, and also is a felony according to paragraph 431 of the same law. This is not extortion but exploitation. An oppressor who ever exploits the distressed physical or mental weakness, inexperience of another one of the following liable to imprisonment for 3 years.